let's jump into the All-Star weekend. It was unfortunate for me that kinda because I enjoyed myself. I didn't see a lot of All-Star weekend, but I was hanging out with
You
my
was over
wife
there
all weekend.
crying watching that movie.
So, Wuthering Heights. What did you think of this movie?
I didn't go see it. I gave the tickets to Rachel and her friend.
You see, this is your problem, Ward. You're not a yearner. You need to
But
learn how
I'm
to.
glad when she came home and she was like, "Listen," she's like, "I almost had to walk out the movie theater and like take a walk and come back inside." She was like,
You know what? I'll say this. They had a lot of stuff going on in that movie, but there was very little nudity. They didn't leave a lot. They left that to the imagination. They didn't leave a lot else to the
"Yeah,
imagination, but they made sure they were fully clothed while
yeah."
what was going on was going on. Um, so I want to read the book. So because when you watch the movie, I walked out and the first thing I said to my wife was like, I didn't know women could write smut back in the 1800s. I didn't know they allowed that. First of all, that was my first reaction. She was the book is nothing like the movie.
Okay.
Um, completely like there's they adapted it so there are portions of it that fit, but in terms of all that other shenanigans that had going on, yeah, no, that didn't that's not in the books, not in the books at all, or the book at all.
Listen. I cry in movies, so it's like, yo, I know, like, if I would see it, if it's like, I would be crying, bro. Like, I'm an emotional head case when it comes to like movies, like sadness and stuff. It's not good for me.
I don't think you would have cried at the end because here's the other part. I don't know how many redeemable characters there are in this movie.
Yeah,
Like there's one redeemable character in the movie. There is one for sure. Maybe because of how it ends, you might end up feeling something for the main character, whatever. I'm trying not to give out too many spoilers, but interesting flick. But it was Valentine's Day weekend. I'm a lover, not a fighter. So I was out all weekend, living it up with wifey, doing different things here and there. And so I missed dunk contest, missed the 3-point contest, shot to Dame Lillard. Shout out to I can see his face because
Showtime Johnson, Miami, he from the Heat.
Kashad, is it Kashad? Kashad
Kishad,
Johnson,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Kashad Johnson. I can see his face. I know he's from San Diego State.
Big battle rap fan too. He follows me on Instagram. Like, I've talked to him before. Yeah,
Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up.
yeah,
So
yeah.
he won the slam dunk contest. From what I saw, highlights wise, were some creative dunks. Although again, I'm gonna get to this point in a second. I'm gonna put a pin in that. But then the game itself, the game was to me really good. Like I was skeptical of the format. I still don't love it. I
Yeah.
like it a lot more than I did going into it. But let me say this about the NBA, and especially about people online. I don't know what it is about you losers who get online. The super NFL season is done, and maybe now you have nothing better to do with your time, and you decide to show up and say, "How can I hate on the NBA? Let's see. Let's talk about this, that, and all this other negative stuff." I wish you people would go to Goofball Island and just go with your goofball takes and just go amuse each other and leave the rest of us alone who simply want to enjoy the sport for what it is. I'm not saying that the NBA is perfect. I'm not saying it is not above critique or criticism, but you show up with your negativity and you jump online and I want to smack you. I want to slap you and knock the taste out of your mouth because you people make me sick. I'm sick of you. If you don't like it, don't watch. No one is forcing you to watch this. Don't bet on it. Don't watch it. Don't talk about it. Go away. And that goes for Stephen A. and anybody else. I'm naming him specifically by name because I saw the clip of him talking about Kawhi and it was disgusting. It was ridiculous. Now that I got that out the way, let's talk about the game. I've seen 3 of the 4 games. I saw the final, I saw the Stars versus Stripes, and I think it's the Stripes versus World. I just put it this: I saw the young Guns versus the World. I saw the OGs versus the Young Guns. I haven't seen
G's versus
the
the world.
OGs versus the World.
Oh,
Yeah.
so you didn't see the De'Aaron Fox game winner?
No, I saw that one because that was the game between the old heads and the young boys.
Oh, it was? Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. The third game was the old heads versus the World. I missed that game because that's the game where Kawhi goes for 31.
Yeah.
That's the game where Kawhi goes for 31.
Wemby misses the 3 that sent him to overtime. Yeah.
Yes. So your thoughts on how that format played out for you this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, the games were really good. Really, really entertaining. I like the games a lot. I don't know format wise. I guess it's just one of them situations where it was like, okay, so whoever won the first game stayed up. The winner stays up. I don't know how they decide who plays in the first game. I don't know. Was that a coin flip? What that was?
That's a great question.
Who gets to go first, basically. Because no matter what, if you lose, you get fresh legs for the last game. You know? So because if you stay up, you play the next team, and whoever wins in that game, one of those teams is going to play possibly you in the last game.
Yeah,
So I think there's a strategy, and I know that like Anthony Edwards and them didn't uh let's
they
see,
won
they
the first
played.
game. They won the first game. They lost the second game to the old heads on that De'Aaron Fox jumper to win it. He won it at the buzzer. And
Yeah, and then
so
they
at that
played.
point, the old they got to take a break, and then the world played the old heads. So the
Right.
old heads basically played 3 games in a row.
Yeah, yeah.
They played 3 games in a row.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's why, obviously, the first three games, I'm like, wow, this is really good. Then you get the fourth quarter, it's like, oh, this is a complete blowout. This is it sucks that this is the way it ended. You know what I mean? And but at the same time, like, yeah, those games were good. I thought the teams were pretty evenly matched. I didn't think. I mean, the young dudes are the young dudes. You know what I mean? When they go up against the old heads, like you can kind of tell because at the end of the day they're playing, but they're not playing. I mean, Wemby was playing. You know what I mean? Like a couple of them dudes were playing, but
I think the majority of everybody gave effort, right? And I'm not going to
and
necessarily say
I'm saying they're like 75%. They're at like 75 to 80, which they used to be at like 20. You know,
yes, yes,
so but I'll say this much though, and you knew that this had to happen. Like you sacrifice all the highlights like of the All-Star game when these guys start playing. Like there's no elbow passes, there's no between the legs, there's no off the backboard alley oops, there's none of that. So then you have to ask yourself like, what do you want to see in an All-Star game? Because I kind of like some of the flashy stuff. I'm like, dang, I'm not gonna get to see a windmill or when Stephon Marbury threw it behind Vadi Divac's head and caught it and shot it on the baseline. Like you're not gonna get to see none of that creative stuff because there's just not room for it because people are playing now, but to a certain extent.
yeah. I mean, I feel you on that. Although I feel like you got some good. So the sequence where Anthony Edwards hits the hezzy on KD, gets to the rim for the layup, trips. I forget which guard it was. Comes down, hits the three to take the lead late in that game against the OGs before De'Aaron hits the three to win it. Like I felt like that sequence was pretty dope. I think seeing defense and seeing Wemby, I have a new appreciation for Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey to me is a fringe MVP candidate. It was like he had a jetpack. How fast he was blowing. Like, so I think you're right. You're missing some of the flashiness of it, but I also think one, you're getting to see, at least as a kid, right? And maybe you can attest to this or not. We would sit there and have these hypothetical conversation of, well, if you put this person with this person, we
Yeah,
get to see how it goes. And I think we got to see in real time on national TV what it looks like when you take some of the best players in the world, you match them up on teams and say, who's better?
yeah,
Shout out to Wimby, like you said, for bringing that competitiveness. He tried it last year that nobody wanted to match him. And then I want to say shout out to Anthony Edwards because here's the thing about Anthony. Anthony does not want to be shown up in any way.
at all.
He thinks he challenges
I almost
Olympic
thought he was just
three-point.
gonna go over there and battle rap Harry Mack. He might have went over there and been like,
Listen, and speaking of, right? I mean, listen, I came on this show and had my reservations about Anthony when he said, "Hey, I want to be a great rapper." Right? This is before he got drafted, and he taught. And there was an article about, man, I think I can rap. I think I can put out some of the best music in the industry. And I'm just like, son, like you're here to hoop though. Like if you
yeah,
can be Dame Lillard, that's amazing. Like we'll take that. Well, I don't want you to be Future,
yeah,
respectfully. Like I want you to be the best basketball player around. And so he has the belief that he is one of the best players in the game. And so when Wemby stepped it up, I'm I know he says he doesn't want to be the face of the league, but I feel like
He's
he's
half like
he's
sarcastic, like playing the. I think yeah,
yeah. I think it's part of it is it's sarcasm because I do think the league came in and stamped Wimby in a way that did not stamp him, and because he wants to be the man so bad, I think that fuels him. I think he uses that as motivation, and I think in this game he's like, oh nah, you're not about to outdo me. Let me get in my bag and let me show you what I can do. And
yeah.
congrats on him for winning MVP. Um, I to me, and I'll tell you, you can tell me what you think of this. I think the league should run with this format one more year, run it back again. Hopefully, Shea and
Jokic and
Luca,
Luka.
Giannis, hopefully all those guys will be healthy and we can truly get the five best in the world, five best in America, right? Whatever that looks like. I think they should run it one more year with this version. I think 2 years from now, they should give us a full on world versus US All Star game with the 12 US. And if that means you have to fudge the numbers and make Cat a world player, granted, he does play for the Dominican Republic in FIBA in the international game. If you got to fudge the numbers to put some Americans on the
Yeah,
international
what was
side,
San Diego's own Norman Powell doing over on the world team?
so I want to say because Norman, I feel like Norman's ancestry is like a Caribbean, like his parents are like from the Caribbean. So I want to
Yeah,
say that's me guessing that is why he ended up on that team.
yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't see it on his wiki page, so it might. I just might have made that up out of nowhere. But yeah, so that's how I ended up there because there's not enough. There weren't enough international players. Although you could have gotten Josh Giddey on the squad, but again, you're talking about the NBA All Star thing still means something to be named the All
Yeah,
Star.
yeah,
So you can't just
yeah.
fill it out just to make the numbers up. So I would like to see them again do this format again next year. Maybe put in a little bit of a halftime performer to give whoever that team that is going to be playing that third game a
Yeah.
little bit of a chance to rest their legs, give them a break so they're not as gassed. But then the third year, just give us a straight US versus world 4 quarters. No 12-minute, 10-minute quarters, round robin style tournaments. And then after that, go back to East versus West.
What I will say is the new format, whereas maybe like I mentioned before, we didn't get the elbow pass or we didn't get like the highlight reel dunks that are um uh what is the word for unattested, not attested? Like what is the
Uncontested?
uncontested? Whereas we didn't get like the uncontested flashy highlights, this format did offer multiple opportunities for moments. So you got the De'Aaron Fox 3, you have the Scotty Barnes 3, where Wemby's visibly irritated.
Super
You have
irritated.
the Wemby missed the 3 to go to overtime. So it did because they're games in quarters. It offers 4 opportunities for a buzzer beater or a lockdown end of quarter type of play. And I think that's important. I really loved one. I thought the guys looked like they were having fun, a little bit more fun than normal. But I loved like De'Aaron Fox's post. He posted a picture of like LeBron James coming up to him after he hit the 3 and like they're doing whatever. And he's like, yo, I'm gonna get this framed and get him to autograph this. You know what I mean? It's like when would De'Aaron Fox ever have LeBron James getting him to rock, him hitting the 3? They're on the same team, and it's like that's just a cool moment for somebody who's already an all-star NBA player, and it provides another type of moment for them.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, hey, given what we've seen about LeBron, he might be a San Antonio Spur next year. I'm just saying.
Hey,
Just saying.
might be.
He might be a Spur next year.
That's true.
Let me shout out Kawhi Leonard, man, because he won't be on my top 5 list for MVP, but I've seen several analysts and people who really respect the game say this, that he's playing some of the best, if not the best basketball of his career. I haven't watched, like I said, I didn't get a chance to see the 31-point game. I saw a couple of clips and highlights of him getting buckets, and it wasn't, like you said, it wasn't uncontested. People were playing defense, and he was just going
Absolutely.
off.
He got to his spots like it was nuts.
Yeah, and so the Clippers right now, I believe, are in the 9 spot. They are. Let me double check that. I believe they're in the 9 spot. I don't think they'll get up to the 6
Is
seed.
Darius Garland going to come back this year, or is he done?
He's out indefinitely. And so that's why I don't think they're going to be able to make a serious run to get to like 7. So right now, they are 6.5 games behind the Suns for 7, for the 7th spot, or 5.5 games, excuse me. They are 7 games behind the Timberwolves for the 6th seed. Like last year, the Timberwolves were the 6th seed with 49 wins. They would essentially have to go something like 23-3. I think they got, or 22-2,
Jeez.
something like that, in order to just give them a chance, a shot to get out of the play-in. That's unrealistic. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
They have had one of the best records in the league since the new year, because at one point they were 6-21, right? So they're 20 and
they went on a 15-3 run or something like that in 18 games. But yeah,
yes,
they started off very
yes.
badly.
So they're 20-7, and the thing is, in that 6-21 stretch, they had double-digit leads in a lot of those games at certain points of those games and just weren't able to hold them. They blew a lot of fourth quarter leads, and so this is a team, had they been able to finish games with more efficiently or better, they would be a top 16. James Harden is probably still a Clipper, and we're not having this discussion of where they are. But I think if Kawhi can somehow lift them to the 8th spot, I think some people might put him 5th. Like if he's able to continue to play, he might end up being 5th on people's ballots just because of where they started to where they finished. So I just wanted to shout him out, man. Just say, hey, great performance. It wasn't enough to win the whole thing, but shout out to you, man. Shout out to you. Let's turn the page. Anything else you want to say about the All-Star game, All-Star weekend? All right, so let's close out and talk about tanking. This was a big deal leading up to the All-Star break. You had the Jazz, playing some of their best players, but sitting them in the fourth quarter in a game against the Magic. You had the Wizards. I think it was the Wizards and maybe the Pacers listing players out with illnesses. Wow.
At least now we know that.
I forget, what was the other one. Is it clapping?
The thumbs up. Yeah.
There it is. There it is. Anyway, listing players out with illnesses, and people lost their collective minds. David Stern, Adam Silver responded that with several ideas. They're talking about abolishing the draft. I've seen that come out there and making it a free agency. My idea of the draft lottery, I shouldn't say my idea, but at least one of the ideas that I pitched about the draft lottery, I've seen that get thrown out there. Your stance on tanking and how it either helps or hurts the league.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it's all of a sudden something brand new. I mean, maybe it's a little bit more magnified with this whole like load management era that we've kind of been on over the past maybe decade or whatever. But it's not like this didn't happen back in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s. I think that with betting, it's made it more of an issue. I think that's really a lot of the pressure comes on player prop bets and different things like that, and wondering if people are not playing for certain reasons and different things like that. But like my solution to it all is to go to Seattle, go to Las Vegas, go to Kansas City, go to Nashville, get you 4 new teams, and let's play the relegation game. Let's play the relegation game. You want to tank?
Where are you going to relegate them to?
To intramurals. They got to play. They got to play
the G League. The G League. They got
those 4 teams. Those 4 cities have a team in the G League, and we're gonna play the relegation game. And all right, I'll see you, Washington Wizards, playing the Iowa freaking Chancellors or whatever next year, while Kansas City has an NBA team.
I'm actually not mad at that idea. I'm not mad at relegation. It would force people to actually play their team. But so listen, as a person who, let me back up. Put the parlays down. And this isn't for this. That is a lot of the problem. People are betting on stuff. And back when I did place bets here and there, There was a day where I had like a 9-team parlay. It was a $5 bet, $1,300 payout, and then one side, never forget it. Tim Duncan Spurs playing the Kings. I think in Sacramento that game. It was like a 13.5 point spread. They ended up losing by like 18. And I said, you know what? The NBA is just not for me. I think the amount of time I spent betting on NBA games steadily decreased to zero. Right. So I get it. I get it. But here's the thing. Sports are, because of the money, people look at sports as entertainment and sports as competition. And so for me, I want to see teams be better from a competition standpoint than I do from an entertainment standpoint. I understand that you're putting together a sports uh you're putting together a product that you want people to pay for and all that good stuff, but it is competition first. So focus on putting together the best product on the floor. If that means you're going to lose games because you're trying to develop players, I get that. I'm with that. I feel like that's part of what OKC did. Other teams are taking that route. But to blatantly sit your best players, you are kind of slapping the fans in the face. It would have been better off if you just simply would have said, well, they can't play. Right. But to have, especially that Jazz game, because they were up by, I think, double digits at a certain point in that game, they were leading, I think, going into the fourth quarter. And because they sat their guys, it just, what are you doing? Like, it is, you're not invested in trying to win, which is why I think the draft lottery is a great idea, because it forces you to play to win and not to play to lose, both in the regular season and in the tournament. And so I think people want to lose their mind because they want to complain about something. They want to be mad about something. But I don't want to see. I do want I can't. That's not true. I was going to say I don't want to see the lottery.
I don't want the draft abolished. I don't like that. I don't like them just.
Yeah, I don't want the draft abolished, but I do think you have to incentivize teams to be better from top to bottom. And I think abolishing the draft lottery, like, to me, that just means all the kids are going to want to go to LA and New York and Miami and all the biggest and best cities. Well, and I think the small markets suffer the most.
It's a good thing it's not like baseball where there's no salary cap. You know what I mean? So there is a good thing there. You know, it's not like the Dodgers, you know, we're just kind of like, all right, yep, you guys are all on our team now, you know? So, but at the same time, I just, you know, they talk about that end of the season tournament, you know, for the pick or whatever. You know, right now it's supposed to be a lottery. I don't know. I mean, people think that's rigged all the time. I don't know if there's any truth to that or not. How often is the worst team in the NBA actually getting the top pick? You know?
Yeah.
And then if you look like at a year like this year, right? They said they anticipate like 11 of the first 12 picks to be like freshmen from college. You know what I mean? Like, and like you got guys that are not tanking, that are gonna get a guy that in a normal draft would be like a top 3 pick.
Potentially, yeah.
You know, so it also depends on the year, you know, like on the year, you know, like we'll have a bunch of hoopla for a Cooper Flag year where he's like, oh, we have one generational talent and the rest of these guys. But this year it's like, yo, there's a lot of these guys out here. So.
Yeah. Did I lose you?
Nope, I'm still here.
Sorry, I'm multitasking. So I agree. I don't want to see the draft abolished. I like the draft. The draft is one of the great things about sports. But like I said, I just would like to see teams focus on trying to win. The thing, I said this with Loso, the thing that bummed me out about the Bulls is they are trying to tank now, but they have like 24 wins.
Yeah.
These other teams have 13 wins. Like, you should have tanked. You should have got rid of all your good players in the offseason, and then you really could have tried to reset the team. And I just don't know what direction they're headed in. Like, I am hate watching the Bulls right now because at least they were fun, right? Like, and I just don't.
Is trading for guys that you know that are going to be out for the season a form of tanking? Like, I'm wondering, like, yo, like the Wizards, like they're trading for Anthony Davis, or they're, you know, like the Clippers trading for Darius Garland, or the Jazz trading for Jaren Jackson Jr. You know, like I've seen so many of these trades where these big guys, and it's like, yo, they're not playing the rest of the year. It's like, oh, is that like a smart way to tank? Where it's like, oh, we got an all-star guy, and we're still going to be trash, and then we're going to be able to pair him with a good player next year.
So what the Wizards, their pick is top 8 protected. So they
Mm-hmm.
want to try to finish in the top 4 or 5 because if they do, it guarantees they won't fall any lower than 6. If they fall below like 8th, then their pick conveys, I think, to the Knicks. And so that's why they are sitting Trey Young, sitting AD, because they don't want to be good. They want to wait for one more year.
Yeah.
Um, So this comment says players in college need to be 2 years before going to the NBA. I mean, I agree, but I don't, because with the transfer portal, it's hard to get continuity. These guys are going to be moving around. And so, like, when you look at Caleb Wilson, to me, has nothing left to prove in college. I mean, Darren Peterson, he hasn't. He's missed so many games to injury. He doesn't have anything to prove, but yet and still, he kind of does. AJ the best.
Him being on the Wooden Award list is just like, I'm like, come on.
That's nasty work. It's nasty work. You haven't played enough. Like,
He's played in 14 games.
I'm not a fan of the NBA 65 game rule. You got to play at least 65 games to be eligible for postseason awards. But like, you can't. That's not enough games. You know what I'm saying? That's just not. It's not. I get it. He's a great player, but he shouldn't be on the list. But like, most of these young boys who are playing right now, they don't have anything else to prove in college in terms of, are they pro ready? They're ready to make their way. And hey, if it doesn't work, we already saw you can go back. So you know what I'm saying? Apparently you can go back if it doesn't work out for you.
Yeah.
So, if Caleb Wilson is sitting on the end of a bench in Toronto or Brooklyn or Washington and Carolina needs a little bit of help, hey, come on back. We'll welcome you back with open arms. But no, I'll say this last thing about tanking. And I feel like this was very illustrative of what happened. You talk about Jaren Jackson Jr. Jaren Jackson Jr., I guess they found whatever the issue was in his knee. When they did a physical for him, they were going to initially rule him out for the season. He said, no, I want to play a few games with these guys just to get familiar with them, and then I'll get the surgery. AD could potentially come back this year if they wanted to. Trey Young could potentially come back this year if he wanted to. Most of the guys who got traded with injury, I think Darius Garland is the only one who's truly, granted, AD is hurt. Like, I don't want to make it seem like he's not hurt, right? But Darius Garland is the only one who really has the potential to be out for the season. Load management is a organizational deal, not a player deal. Yes, are there players who don't want to play? Sure. But listen, you get to take a break off from dropping the fries every once in a while. You don't have to go, you know what I'm saying? You get PTO days. They should get PTO days too, for whatever reasons they deem them. However, most of these decisions are made by organizations, not by players. Organizations tank, not players. So I don't want to hear about load management. Frankly, if I hear about, there's a stat, and I don't know if I can find it fast enough, but there's a gentleman named Jeff Stotts who runs a site where he deals with injuries, not just in the NBA, but across sports in general, all the major sports. And like, he had a stat that something like maybe 2,000 or 3,000 games have been missed by players due to injury. And then like only 199 games have been to load management. Players are playing. If they're not, they are hurt. So stop pushing this narrative of load management. It's not true, at least not this year. And to me, I don't think it's been true the last couple of years. Players have been hurt, and that's just what it is. Let me see if I might have found it. Let me see. And I'll give the stat and we can get up out of here. So February 9th, total games lost to injury or illness, 4,253. Total games lost to rest or injury management, 199. Load management is not a problem in the NBA this year, folks. So the second I hear you talk about that, I'm going to give this Stephen A. treatment. I got you. You don't watch basketball. You don't watch like, you're not watching the games. You're not tapped in, and you out yourself every time you bring up load management.
Yeah, it's just whenever load management hurts the fan experience a little worse than an injury does, and that's just why it is. You know, when you see the sign that says I drove 1,100 miles to come see, LeBron, and he just like, yeah, I'm not playing this back to back. I'm 42 years old. It's like, all right,
Yeah. Listen, the last I took my brother to New Orleans for his birthday a couple of years ago, maybe 3-4 years ago. I think it was post-COVID for sure. So it's maybe like 21, 22. We went to a Saints game on Sunday, Pelicans game Monday night. and the Warriors were in town. And for some reason, Steve Kerr made decisions to sit Clay, Dre, and Steph like 2, 3 years in a row. And as we walk into the venue, this older gentleman comes up to me and he is incensed. This is BS. This is like the second or third year in a row where Kerr is not. He's made all the guys take like they're here in the building. They can play for a quarter. Like he was hot. He was hot. And so I mean, listen. On one hand, I get it. People are being upset with the Jazz and how they did it, but at least they got to see the best players play, right? Like they just didn't sit them out. And so yeah, man, I don't know how they fix it. I hope they don't abolish the draft. Listen, tune into This Week in the NBA. I gave you the whole layout for the draft lottery, why you should do it, what the benefits of it. There's many benefits, very few cons. A year like this where you have a 14-team tournament to see who's going to get the rights to draft Darren Peterson or AJ DeBanza, that is ratings gold, especially if you have, let's just say the Washington Wizards, right? They get Trae Young and Anthony Davis, and they play them because they're healthy, but they're not good enough to make it out into the play-in or into the playoffs. You have a team that could potentially get the number 1 overall pick and add a generational prospect to a Trae Young, along with guys like Bub Carrington or Trey Johnson, right? Like they have talent. And they have good young talent. And so, yeah, man, I think that would be a super fun idea. So, anything else?